to another exciting episode of Effective Living Mornings. I'm Coach Ricardo Miller, and we are continuing our efforts to help individuals discover their purpose and literally rise to the occasion of becoming all that they're created to be. Now, this morning, I decided to shake it up a little bit, and I said, listen, one of the persons who have been following this platform and is tapping into discovering purpose and maximizing her potential is none other than Brittany. Brittany, welcome back to Effective Living.
Good morning, Coach. How are you today? Thanks for having me.
I am doing wonderful. It's been a while. We've done this before, and I am so grateful that you agreed to join me this morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. Living life with my kiddo and having a blast.
Excellent. So, Brittany, ladies and gentlemen, this is off the cuff, okay? So, Brittany has no clue as to the questions I'm going to ask, but I love Brittany's heart, and I love her passion and commitment to discovering herself and getting herself in alignment to where she believed God would have her to go moving forward. Brittany, we're talking about purpose, okay? Now, Myles Munroe said, where purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable. You've seen people make mistakes of simply living without a plan. How frustrating you think that is, to like literally get up every day and just really not have a plan? Have you seen that? Have you experienced that? Do you believe it's a struggle?
I think it is very frustrating to live life without a plan because you're constantly grasping at straws. Searching for the next thing, what's the next hot thing that you can get into to either make a quick buck or get yourself seen. And each time it never works out. So I think that becomes a very frustrating cycle that leads to just a general life burnout because you're constantly seeking for the next thing and you're never satisfied.
So good. You're never satisfied. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I want you to stick with us because one of the great struggles is that most people aren't in pursuit of purpose because they don't know their purpose. So what you just heard Brittany mention, we're going to talk about this. We're going to have a part one talk today, and we're going to come back tomorrow and have another part to talk about this particular subject because this is important. Now, Brittany, I can remember when I was on my journey to discovering purpose. Literally, I can remember trying everything. I can remember being an usher. I can remember being in the men's choir. I can remember driving the church bus. I can remember starting a lawn care business. I can remember doing security at night. I can remember starting a t-shirt company. I had all kinds of concepts. And a lot of those concepts were interesting to me, but none of those things were my purpose. Brittany, have you seen people or have you found yourself being caught up in a lot of busyness in regards to doing a lot of cool things? Because a lot of people, that's where they end up. What's your view on just doing a lot of cool things without fulfillment?
I have experienced that, and I have seen other people go through a similar thing. And one of the things that I've learned is, especially I am coming out of a people-pleasing habit, and it can be very difficult when people show that they are what's the word I'm looking for? They are supporting something that you do or that you're good at, but what they're really doing is encouraging you to do something that you're good at so they can keep using you. Yeah. And I think a lot of people get caught up in that facade and, they're giving me all of this power. They see all this in me, but it's not your true purpose. Mm-hmm. And I think it can be very difficult to actually discover your true purpose when you're constantly trying to do things to please other people.
Trying to do things to please other people. Brittany, I've come to the conclusion most people aren't in their purpose is because we were taught to please people. That's the struggle, actually.
Yep.
So what's popular, what's hot, you remember, you talk about trends, you talk about that early on. In other words, what everybody is doing, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And so when you talk about that people pleasing, I was there, man. I was there. And this morning, we have people watching us and they haven't tapped into their purpose. And I'm so grateful that you wanted to, accept this invitation that just really dives into the question where I'm on my journey to discovering purpose, and I'm okay talking about it. The reason why I think this is pretty cool is because most people haven't accepted that they have discovered their purpose, and they're not even willing to talk through the process of embracing what they feel may be it. And I'm hoping that between our talk this morning and our talk tomorrow morning, we'll be able to reveal that, listen, it's a journey. It's a journey because remember now, you end up doing a lot of things, but you end up also discovering what you are not about. How has it been for you to have literally started to accept some things are not for you?
It's been difficult. I am coming out of a period where I'm discovering what I like. It can be hard to know what your purpose is when, like, I'm a mom, I do rescue work, I volunteer at my church, I volunteer in the community, and it can be difficult to discover your purpose when you're good at so many things, but not being good at a lot of things does not mean all of those things are your purpose.
Being good at a lot of things does not mean all of those things are your purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to grab a hold of that. If you're watching, write that down and put that in the comment section. Being good at a lot of things does not mean that is your purpose. Brittany, I want to talk about this whole idea of learning to pay the price of breaking the habits and establishing a new trend. But before we do that, we're going to talk about literally my book, guys. If you have not gotten my book, you need to get a copy of the book. So check this out, and we'll be right back with Brittany as we talk about In Pursuit of Purpose. Welcome back yet to Effective Living. I'm joined with Brittany Clark, and we are talking about In Pursuit of Purpose. Now, Brittany is at the early stage of discovering purpose. Now, Brittany, what a lot of people don't realize is you could actually acquire age and never find purpose. So somebody would say to me, oh my goodness, Ricardo, is it possible to be, I'm 48 years old, and not know your purpose? Yeah, you could be 48 years old and not know your purpose. You could be 38 years old and not know your purpose. You could be 28 years old and not know your purpose. The reality of it is you just haven't figured it out. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have one. You have one, you just haven't acknowledged it yet. You haven't developed it. And purpose needs to be developed. Purpose needs to be enhanced. Purpose is your why. Write that down, ladies and gentlemen. Purpose is your why. Now, here's the challenge. You have a reason why you are existing in the earth, but you also have things like Brittany just highlighted that you're good at, and they're not necessarily your purpose, but those are things that you've become highly skilled in and oftentimes could be distracting you from your purpose. Your purpose is where you belong. But if you've been taught and you've developed behaviors that lean towards what's popular or what's admired, you could end up spending your life focusing on what's popular or what's admired. And so, Brittany, I talk about fulfillment a lot. But I want you to talk to me about the struggle to breaking the habit of literally zoning in and focusing, because like you said, you're gifted, you are good at a lot of things, and you've become accustomed to being just, I know I'm good at a few things, and I've been consistent in doing these things. I don't know if I want to do anything else. But now you feel within. I heard Myles Munroe said this years ago, Brittany, and those of you that are watching this morning, you're going to like this. He says, purpose cries from within to be birthed or to be maximized. In other words, when you see someone doing something that is aligned with your purpose, you oftentimes feel like, I can do that. Or why isn't that me? You know, have you ever been there? And what has that been like for you when you realize, hold on, why am I not there?
Yes. Recently, in my own in an experience with a children's ministry, I was watching the things going on, and I just started to think, why isn't that me? Why am I not doing things like this? And it sort of highlighted to me all of the things that I had previously thought, well, I'm really good at this. I could go and do this, or I'm really good at that. I can go and do that. And I just realized that it's like getting back into the gym. It takes busting out of your comfort zone, waking up early, doing all of the things that you were uncomfortable with before, just doing them anyway, because people will judge you either way.
Yeah. Yep.
You might as well do what is going to lead you on the path to your purpose, rather than just wait around and wait for it to come to you, because it doesn't always come to you.
It doesn't always come to you, and either way you're going to be judged, as you mentioned. But you looked out there and you thought, I could be that, or I could be that. But oftentimes we are discouraged from being that, because you said something a little bit earlier. Sometimes people want us to stay where they've become accustomed to us functioning. In other words, don't aim for another place when you know that's not really your place. You are good right here, Ricardo. You are good right here, Brittany. That whole idea of choosing to move outside of your comfort zone, has that been easy for you? Because there are people who are watching, and even this interview, is it easy to do the interview, or is it easy to even step out of your comfort zone? How has that been for you? Because you're on your road to destiny. But a lot of people say follow destiny, but they don't understand destiny has difficulty before it comes to its fruition.
I would say no. It was not easy to do this. As you know, I was a little nervous beforehand. But something else that I have recently learned is that not only am I breaking my habits and breaking out of my own comfort zone, I'm teaching my son how to go and do things that he is afraid of, but also in a way, by sticking to my boundaries and pursuing my purpose, I am breaking other people out of their comfort zone, because a lot of people are comfortable with me being where I am and me being the helper and doing the things that they need me to help with, but I'm not helping them or me by staying in that place.
Wow. I'm not helping me or them by staying in that place. If you're destined for another level and you stay where you don't belong, you heard the whole process. What she just said is a whole mouthful. Now, we got about 3 minutes before we move on and bring this talk to a close, but we'll be back again, because I want you guys to capture thinking about the idea. Have I discovered my purpose? Am I in pursuit of purpose? Or am I currently maximizing the purpose that's within me? All of us have something to offer the world. Now, one of the things you could do is you could decide, and that's why I like what Brittany has agreed to, and that is document the process. Because a year from now, Brittany will be able to look back and says, you know what? I started the process even when I was not sure of where it will end. I just knew where I wasn't where I should be, and I knew that there was more. I knew that there was more. So, Brittany, you started writing down, you told me this, you started writing down certain things, and you started figuring out, okay, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. But then you started to realize, I can't be good at everything, or I can't give my attention to everything, but I need to learn how to discover the main thing. How has your prayer life been since you've now decided to zone in? How has your God relations to basically like, God, I don't want to just exist anymore? Have you found yourself really needing him to bring that aha to you? What's going on there?
Yes, I am very fond of the secret place, which is referenced in the Bible a lot. I have a mental visual of my secret place, and I visit it frequently. And I have learned to walk hand in hand with God and allow him to guide each of my steps rather than taking 3 steps and then asking for permission. Because I believe that allowing him to walk with me and guide my steps will make busting out of my comfort zone easier. It doesn't feel like I am busting out of my comfort zone when I do things that I previously was afraid of, because I have God alongside me.
How is this? And I want to talk about this because a lot of people don't talk about this, Brittany, and we're going to be done in a minute. This whole concept of I want what God wants for me, but I'm afraid to do what I've not done before. So there is some disturbance in regards to fear, but then there is also some comfort in knowing that there is more. So there is this tug of war that says there is more, but then there's also fear. And so the fear to do something different, and then there is, but I feel in my spirit, I really should. How does that work for you?
Well, I hit a point where it was either I stay in my comfort zone and I don't ever do anything differently and I just live my life, or I proceed with finding my purpose, which is also scary, but both sides of the coin are scary in a way. And you have to decide which fear you're going to go with. Yes, if you decide to pursue your purpose, you're going to hit a lot of no's and a lot of walls, and you're going to have to overcome those. But how many things are you missing out on by staying in your seat?
Ladies and gentlemen, today we join with Brittany Clark. Watch this lady. Okay, let me tell you something. There are certain things you just got to do to get to your promise. And she is on her journey to fulfilling her promise. I wrote this quote down, and it's a profound quote. It says, just like a tree trapped in a seed, your destiny is not ahead of you, but trapped within you. All of us have something to offer the world. But in order for it to come forth, it needs to be birthed. And it's going to push you outside of your norm to a place that's going to get you to your destiny. Brittany, thank you so much for joining us. I want to pray for those of you that are watching. Please tag somebody or share this, because I believe everybody needs to discover their purpose. I believe everybody needs to maximize their potential. You can't live life effectively if you don't find your place in the world. You may acquire some things along the way, but there is this lack of fulfillment that will never bring you to a place that you say, my God, yes, I got the car. Yes, I got the house. Yes, I got the relationship going. Yes, I have a number of things going for me. But for some reason, there's a void. That void is called lack of fulfillment. There's a disconnect. And I believe when purpose merge with God's perfect will for your life in aligning, in timing and understanding, and you start working on all the kinks, you end up like fish in water. A fish in water is one. A fish belongs in the water, and there's a place where you belong. I want to pray for you this morning. Father, I thank you for those who are watching. I thank you for Brittany joining me this morning. I ask that you will help all of us to understand we have a purpose, but not only do we have a purpose, we need to discover it and we need to maximize it so that you could be glorified in the earth. You will place it here to be a light in a dark world, and purpose is where we shine best. So may we all commit to finding our purpose and utilizing it so we can shine bright, so that others can see the great work that we're doing and glorify you, which is in heaven. So bless each person watching us this morning. It is in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Listen, guys, I'm Coach Ricardo Miller. I'm joined with Brittany Clark. We're going to be back tomorrow morning, and we want to dive into the subject even more, in pursuit of purpose. I told Brittany I wanted us to talk about this because there are people who aren't talking it through. And if you can't talk it through, sometimes you can't get delivered because you're not willing to go there. Thank you, Brittany, for being willing to go there, because you're going to help a lot of people by sharing your story. God bless you.
Thanks, Coach.